I still remember the exact sound the front door made when it closed behind me that cold Thanksgiving night. It wasn't a loud slam. It was a quiet final click that seemed to echo inside my chest like the end of everything I had ever known. The November wind touched my face, sharp and unforgiving, and for a long moment I just stood there on the porch steps, holding my small purse, feeling the ground beneath me shift in a way I could never have prepared for. And for 28 years I had given my whole heart and every ounce of my strength to my family. I was the oldest daughter, the one who learned very early what it meant to carry heavy responsibilities. When I was 16, my father lost his stable job. Money became tight, and suddenly the weight of keeping the household running fell on my young shoulders. I started working part-time after school, helping with bills, buying groceries, cooking meals, and taking care of my 2 younger siblings so my parents could try to figure things out. I never complained. I believed with all my heart that this was what family meant. We sacrificed for each other. We supported each other, and we stayed together no matter what. Thanksgiving had always been my favorite holiday. It was the one day the whole house felt warm and full of hope. The air would smell of roasted turkey, cinnamon pies, and fresh bread. I would spend weeks planning the perfect meal. I saved money carefully, chose the biggest turkey I could afford, baked apple and pumpkin pies from scratch, prepared mashed potatoes with extra butter, the way my father liked them, made green bean casserole, cranberry sauce, and even homemade rolls. I set the table with our best dishes, lit candles, and made sure every detail felt special. I loved seeing my family gathered around the table, laughing, sharing stories, and feeling grateful for one another. Those moments made all the hard days worth it. That particular Thanksgiving. I woke up at 5 in the morning, full of quiet excitement. I worked all day in the kitchen with love in every single dish. The turkey came out golden and juicy. The pies smelled like home and comfort. The house was filled with the warm, inviting aroma that always made my heart feel full. When everyone finally sat down at the beautifully set table, I looked around at my parents, my younger brother, and my sister with a heart overflowing with gratitude. I served the food with joy, listening to their conversations and laughter. I thought this would be another beautiful memory we would talk about for years to come. I thought we were a real family, but what I didn't know that night, while I was happily cutting the pumpkin pie and serving second helpings, was that my family had already made a decision that would completely shatter my world. Long, heavy, emotional pause, voice becomes soft and trembling with pain. They threw me out on Thanksgiving night, telling me I was no longer welcome in the home I had helped keep together for so many years. The conversation started quietly after dessert. We were all sitting around the table, the plates still half full. My father cleared his throat and said, I had become too independent and that I was not contributing enough to the family anymore. My mother nodded along and added that I made the family look bad because I was still single at 28 and seemed more focused on my own small job than on helping at home. My younger brother, who I had helped raise, complained loudly that I took up too much space in the house and that my things were always in the way. My sister joined in, saying I was holding everyone back with my rules and my constant need to control how things were done. I sat there, completely frozen, the pie server still in my hand. My heart started beating so fast I could feel it in my throat. "What?" I asked in a quiet, confused voice. My mother looked away from me and said softly but firmly, "It's time for you to go, Alina. You need to learn to stand on your own feet. We think it's best if you leave tonight." The words hit me like a cold wave crashing over me. I felt my entire world shatter in that single moment. Tears filled my eyes as I whispered, "This is my home too. I've helped pay for this house for years. I've taken care of all of you when things were hard. I cooked this entire meal today with love." My father just shook his head and repeated, "Not anymore. Pack a small bag and go. It's for your own good. No one stood up for me. No one hugged me. No one said, wait, let's talk about this. They simply watched as I walked slowly to my room, my hands shaking, and put a few clothes, my important documents, and my phone charger into a small bag. I left the house with nothing else. The door closed behind me with that quiet, final click. And I was suddenly outside in the cold November night. Alone, I sat in my old, unreliable car for many hours, shivering under an old blanket I kept in the trunk. Tears rolled down my face non-stop as I replayed every single sacrifice I had made for them over the years. I remembered the nights I stayed up late studying and working so I could help pay the rent when my father was unemployed. I remembered buying new school clothes for my brother and sister while wearing the same old jackets myself. I remembered taking my mother to doctor appointments, cooking meals when she was tired, and quietly managing the household bills so no one else had to worry. I remembered all the times I gave up my own plans, my own rest, and my own dreams so the family could feel stable. That night, I slept in the car in a parking lot near a supermarket, curled up in the back seat, crying until my body had no tears left. The pain was so deep I felt completely shattered, broken into a million pieces, and painfully exposed. The betrayal from my own family cut deeper than any knife ever could. How could the people who were supposed to love me the most, the ones I had sacrificed so much for, throw me out on Thanksgiving night, a day meant for gratitude, warmth, and togetherness? The next few weeks were a blur of survival and heartbreak. I stayed with a kind coworker for a few nights, sleeping on her couch. Then I found a small, cheap room to rent in a shared apartment. Every morning I woke up feeling the heavy, crushing weight of their rejection. I felt destroyed inside. The loneliness was suffocating. I questioned everything I thought I knew about family and love. Were all those years of sacrifice meaningless to them? Did they ever really see me as part of the family? Or was I just someone convenient to have around until they decided I was no longer needed? But even in the middle of that deep, dark pain, something quiet and powerful began to shift inside my heart. The unconditional love I had poured into my family for so many years slowly started turning into a steady, quiet strength I had never felt before. I realized I could not force them to value me or appreciate my sacrifices, but I could start valuing myself. I began working longer hours at my job, saved every single penny I could, ate simple and cheap meals, and focused all my energy on building a life that was truly mine. The pain was still there, raw, heavy, and present every single day, but it no longer controlled every breath I took. I stood a little taller each morning. I smiled less at first, but when I did smile, it was for myself. The very next morning after they threw me out, everything in their world began to fall apart in ways none of us could have imagined. My phone started ringing very early, before the sun had fully risen. It was my father. His voice was shaking with panic and regret. During the night, a major pipe had burst in the upstairs bathroom. Water flooded the entire second floor, ruining carpets, walls, furniture, and even some of my mother's important documents and keepsakes. My mother, trying to clean the mess in the dark, slipped on the wet floor and broke her arm badly. She was in terrible pain. My brother's car, which was parked in the driveway, was broken into overnight. The stereo, some tools, and other items were stolen. The beautiful Thanksgiving dinner I had spent all day preparing with so much love sat untouched in the kitchen and spoiled, because no one knew how to properly store or save the leftovers. The house was in complete chaos. The heating system started acting up because of the water damage. Nothing seemed to go right for them. They called me again and again throughout that day and the following days. Their voices were desperate. They needed money for emergency repairs, someone to take care of my mother while her arm healed, help with cleaning the flood damage, and emotional support to deal with the sudden crisis. But this time, when I answered the phone, I spoke with a calm, steady strength I didn't even know I possessed. "I'm so sorry you're going through all of this," I said quietly. I truly hope you find the help and support you need. Then I gently ended the call. For the next several months, the calls and messages kept coming. Their tone grew more and more desperate. They finally began to see and understand how much I had quietly carried for the family all those years: the cooking, the cleaning, the bill paying, the emotional support, the glue that had held everything together. The house felt empty, chaotic, and overwhelming without me. The bills started piling up because I was no longer there to quietly manage them. The daily routines fell apart. They realized the true cost of their decision on that painful Thanksgiving night. I did not rush back to fix everything for them. Instead, I continued building my own life with quiet determination and grace. I worked hard at my job and received a well-deserved promotion with better pay. I moved into a cozy little apartment that finally felt like a real, peaceful home. I decorated it with small things that brought me joy. I surrounded myself with new friends who truly appreciated me, respected my boundaries, and celebrated my successes. I started taking care of myself in ways I had never done before: eating better, exercising, reading books that inspired me, and allowing myself to dream again. When my family eventually came to my new apartment with tears, apologies, and regret, I listened to them with a peaceful and open heart. I forgave them for the deep pain they had caused me, but I also set clear, healthy boundaries. I told them gently but firmly that I still loved them as family, but I would no longer allow myself to be taken for granted, used, or thrown away when it was convenient for them. I would help when I could, but from a place of choice, not obligation. Today I live with a calm, steady inner strength and a deep sense of peace that I never knew was possible. The pain from that Thanksgiving night has softened over time into wisdom, self-respect, and gratitude for the stronger woman I have become. The scars are still there, but they no longer define me. They remind me of how far I have come. If there is one profound lesson I want you to carry with you from my long and painful story, it is this: family should lift you up, make you feel safe, and value your presence, not tear you down, make you feel unwanted, or treat you as disposable. When the people closest to you reject you, it hurts more deeply than almost anything else in life. But it can also become the moment you finally discover your true worth. A woman's heart can be shattered and broken by betrayal from her own family, but it has the incredible power to rebuild itself into something stronger, more beautiful, more resilient, and more unbreakable than before. Never let anyone make you feel small or unimportant in your own life. The greatest form of justice and the sweetest quiet revenge is often simply living well, with peace in your heart, self-love in your soul, and quiet dignity in your every step. Choose yourself, protect your heart wisely, and always remember that you are worthy of love, respect, and happiness exactly as you are. Music swells gently with warmth, hope, and soft resolution, then slowly fades to peaceful silence. Thank you, from the bottom of my heart, for sitting with me through this deeply emotional journey. If your family has ever hurt you, rejected you, or made you feel unwanted, please know that you are not alone. Your strength is inside you, waiting to bloom even in the darkest moments. Please share your thoughts or your own personal story in the comments below. Have you ever been turned away by family during a special day? How did you find your way forward? Your voice and your experience matter more than you know. Until next time on this channel, stay strong, protect your beautiful heart, and always remember your own worth. You are enough.